Hello and welcome to the Black Mind Podcast.
We were just talking about a fuck ton of alcohol.
We were talking about alcohol for once in our...
We're not alcoholics.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Alcoholic.
No, when we get the game company going, then we'll be alcoholics, like professional level alcoholics.
We'll get paid to drink.
Just us hunched over computers and going like, did we get this thing done yet? No, it's due out next week.
We have to fix all the bugs.
This is the life we have to look forward to.
I can't wait. That's enthusiastic. It's not fake at all.
I'm not depressed. I don't know what depression is.
Funny thing is, I wouldn't mind staying late at a job I like to do.
It depends upon what you're doing, because I don't mind doing road construction. I just fucking hate staying late. You don't get freedom with it and stuff like that.
Exactly. Freaking, I think game design is or at least working at a video game company is the only give and take where it's like, well, we have to get this thing done. We're going to have to stay late. But at least there's A, beds, or B, maybe this is a fancier place that has showers. So it's like, well, I'm not totally fucked.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, it's kind of fucked that you can't plan your time properly. You have to stay at work and not leave the work. And it's like, that's kind of fucked.
I love those.
Which is a whole other ordeal.
Oh yeah. Nah, you know what I love is like I love the people who sit there and then are like, this is going to be Jeff has no sympathy for you, you fucks. But I love the people who sit there and then immediately decide that it's a good idea in order to complain. I just love them. It's so easy to just tolerate those people. Don't you understand? So this week on the Black Mind Podcast, with me as always is Allan, Josh, and other smart people named Jeff.
Yep.
I got some things to talk about. Josh has some things to talk about. We all have things to talk about, actually, this episode.
I'm a little bit.
Allan was smoking.
I was at a party.
Don't say that.
Allan is ready to tip over.
Don't say that.
Not really, just...
You don't party. You don't party.
I'm allowed to party.
You don't party. Even though you do. So I watched the Computex coverage, and yeah.
Something about their technology is going to be way better.
AMD's entire thing, the way I think I phrased it was that, I'm going to scroll up. Allan posted heresy, saying that Cyberpunk is going to be terrible.
I never said it was going to be terrible. I just said it wasn't going to be as good.
You said it was going to be worse than Subverse.
Yes, because Subverse has a Neko girl. And then Shane saved the day. Where he's like, and I quote, yeah, no, they have to have a thing. And then he posted a thing about like the exotics. And I was like, Everything is balanced, as all things should be. No, I'm not even like I love the fact that we're gonna get some weird things.
I kind of like how in the future, when I finally do upgrade my computer, it's gonna be like a nice jump in technology. It seems like.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's right. You're doing an upgrade.
I'm gonna try to. I have to pay for dentist work first, but that oh, dentist.
Josh is going to have the best computer, which is insulting to me, the person who is the PC fucking master race.
Once I finally do upgrade, it's gonna be like, hey, here's this like mid-range, really good hotness. What do you got? Oh.
Oh, you have this part that's like 8 years old? How dare you?
That is me. My hard drive, my desktop, besides like the few updates that I've done over the couple of years, I can guarantee you my motherboard is still fucking 8 years old at this point. And I really don't want to update just yet.
See, it's funny because right now it's like, for me, if like I do anything, it's like, I am like wasting my computer's potential.
Yeah.
To the point of where it's like, I really can't do anything. Now, I can absolutely complain about the computer and what AMD did, but AMD did a very good thing. And it made me very happy. For a variety of reasons. And one of those reasons being...
It's because of like the work that you're doing?
Yeah, no, the reason why I'm excited is because it's like, So they're coming out with a brand new like processor, of course, which is a good thing. And everyone's like sad. And basically what happens is that Intel said point blank that we're releasing a brand new processor, and AMD's releasing a 12-core and a 16-core. Now, they also announced 4.0 PCI, which is like 20 times stronger than previous Intel processors.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what the advantage of that, or what disadvantage, depending on what your opinion is that we're now getting processors that are capable of 4 gigahertz sustained on Intel, or 5 gigahertz sustained loads.
Hopefully, because there is still a chance that might not be.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we're getting is we're also getting told that we're also going to get like a 5 gigahertz, like not just 5 gigahertz sustained load, but like more like more larger than life processors, which are going to be like stronger when it comes to like certain tasks. We're going to get a higher end processor that's slightly faster. So we're getting things done. It's slow, but it's progress.
Yeah.
And so the thing that's exciting to me is like this stuff is like happening, and it's happening like pretty quickly. The other thing I'm going to say is that we're also getting PCI 4.0, which is like really cool. Because the way that they demonstrated it was the worst fucking way ever.
Yeah.
They demonstrated it this stupid way that resulted in a lot of people getting confused.
Not so it's they thought it was not confusing, and it turns out it was very confusing.
It was super confusing because you want to know what they did?
What?
So they announced the PCI 4.0, and they were like, "Oh, PCI 4.0," and the way they demonstrated it was comparing a 9900K to a Navi GPU, which is not designed to compete with any GPU. Yeah, it was great.
It was so great. It was so great, bro. And it just resulted in like tons of confusion.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, it was. It would have been. It would have been a lot smarter if like AMD had sat there and just point blank said, "Oh, Navi GPUs are around the corner." But we didn't get that, and it was hilarious.
Yep.
And so we got a little bit of Navi. They announced the Navi price. We got the R9 series now, which is interesting because AMD is basically copying Intel's CPUs again. And what else do we have? We have some other things that they're announcing, but nothing really massive.
Yeah. I suspect that every time like new updates come to like software and stuff or hardware and stuff like that Jeff talks about, I tend to be very pessimistic towards the idea of like what the updates are about, how they're going to come in, stuff like that. And even though I think that it's AMD, right? That you said?
Yeah, it's AMD.
Yeah,
AMD's actually. It's like
I actually think AMD is going to do fine for the most part, but they're going to run into bugs. I think because, as you said, it's 200 megabytes that it is. Yeah, like I think that's going to be where they're going to run into the bug. Fuck, that'll be impressive. But like that's consistent.
200 megabytes per second.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Like I think that's going to like the problem. That's going to have a fucking consistency problem. The way that like, certain things happen, like how people install them, how they set them up.
It depends.
Because I think that's the optimal setup for that, and I don't know if that's going to be like the standard for everyone to set up. Because Jeff, how often do you do the baseline factory setup?
Never.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So think about it like that way.
Here's my thing, and then you're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. And then you'll probably understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Which is the way that Intel is doing things right now doesn't work anymore. So what's
not anymore. But then again, like I suspect if this does work with AMD, it will kick them into changing things up.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Like, I know you complain about Intel and a couple of the other companies, but like they're stagnant. I agree that they are indeed currently stagnant, stuff like that. But I don't think stagnancy with some of the companies is a bad thing, because if they're good at what they're doing, like let's say Nvidia is really good at doing their graphic cards and stuff like that, and maybe I think they're sound. Usually, like I think those are usually things.
Yeah.
But like they iterate, they make some things better, they make some things better.
The problem that I have with Nvidia is that the last generation was completely just the shift down, so it wasn't like gains across the board.
I can't help but wonder if that there might have been a reason for that. I wonder if it might have either been the way that the product was developed, or if the previous generation just seemed better because of the software that was out at the time. Because I remember, like, that's the thing is, like, even though if it's a step down, I want what is going on. Like, could it be like the production time? Could it be the production schedule? Could it have been the prototyping that's something that they didn't notice that made it like a step down, or was there a production limitation on how they did their work style, or like, and that's the thing is that like it's. While I agree that if it is a step down, it's always a bad thing. But sometimes you have to stop and go, okay, well, why are they stepping backwards? Could it be that the previous design, the years previous, was just unsustainable? Could it be that the new product that they intended to put out this year was also unsustainable? Because that's another question. If they're at a major loss, Nintendo, you got to remember, like a good example is Microsoft. Microsoft puts out the Xbox One at a loss, but they make up the money in all their other categories. But if Nvidia is only, again, they're only a graphics card company, and if the previous year they had been at a major loss for putting out that product, and I mean like a major loss, I don't mean like, oh, they were under by like $50K. That's not a major loss for a company. If they were under by like $5 million, maybe I could see them going, okay, that's unsustainable right now because not a lot of people are buying. So that's the thing. It's like well, okay, why did this happen? But I do agree with you that rolling backwards is a bit of a bad thing, but it depends upon the situation. And this is the reason why with AMD, I'm sketchy about this, because that 200 megabytes per second makes me concerned. I don't know how sustainable that is with our current tech. Could it be next generation somehow gets up to 400 megabytes or 500 megabytes? Is it just like the production style, or is it like the management of software that's related to the product?
Let me explain a little bit more, and then it will probably ease your pain. So AMD is doing a 7 nanometer process, which is equivalent to Intel 10 nanometer process, which allows them to hit 5 gigahertz on their processor across all cores.
Yeah.
What that means for you is that, like, this is Moore's law, basically in the like circumference of like demonstration, because basically what Moore's law allows you to do is have an IPC increase while keeping the same production. We're also seeing Intel finally do Moore's law, but it's only on notebooks, and that's kind of like, everyone's kind of like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
My issue with my entire issue with like AMD and Intel and NVIDIA results from the fact that what Intel did is Intel moved the product line forward, but they kept the product at the same price. What NVIDIA did was, for a 20% increase in performance, they shifted the entire product line up and kept all of the same prices. It wasn't like Intel could have it wasn't like NVIDIA could have done anything in order to lower the price. But at the same time, it's like RTX is way too expensive. And I would have liked it if they had done a product where it was the same product, like in line, without RTX features. And I think people would have been far more forgiving. I also, like, the cynic in me is sitting here going, the way that they demonstrated PCI 4 is terrible. And we haven't even talked about the chipset yet, or Threadripper. The chipset is 11 watts per channel. 11 watts just for PCI 4. That is a lot of heat. That is like a processor. That is a notebook processor.
Yeah. Again, you have to ask the questions of what else is going on. And I do agree with you on that.
Oh, no. What's going on right now is that Intel can't get a foundry producing 10 nanometer fast enough, and AMD doesn't use their own foundries anymore to produce their processors.
Yeah.
And what that means in the short term and long term is that, like, you're having a company that's more like Apple, whereas everything is kind of closed and everything's kind of run the same by the company, and everything's managed by the company. And then you have TSMC and Samsung, who is used by AMD, and they're quite frankly destroying it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to move on from AMD because I also want to talk about some other things. I wrote some things down. Corsair announced water cooling blocks. So did Cooler Master. So I'm kind of excited. NVIDIA is making a MacBook killer. And let me put it like this. There is now a beer dispensing PC. And one of the things that could have actually saved AMD's shitty demo would have been if they had done, quite frankly, video showing two M.2 SSDs loading up on a PC.
Yeah.
And what that would have allowed them to do is show like basic loading times of the same piece of hardware.
Yeah.
So,
or similar.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my basic thing. Is I really liked everything that was shown at Computex. There was a beer dispensing PC, 384 gigabytes of RAM was shown. Which, Josh, if you do not get 64 gigs or 32 gigs, I'm going to be disappointed in you.
Yeah, I can believe that entirely.
Yeah, Josh, get 64 gigs of RAM, or I'll scoff at you.
What?
I'll get 100 and
Yep.
128. Just overkill
In
it.
the morning.
Just get 32 gigs. So that's what I have.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Add that to the ever-growing list of things to get on that computer.
Do you want to know? So I want to tell you something right now, and you'll probably be like, "What?" I'm going to PC Part Picker right now, and I'm going to check and see how much 32 gigs of RAM is.
I'm gonna bet $20.
DDR4? No.
Oh, $300.
I spent $300. Actually, no, I spent like $400. But AMD's getting more support, so that's good. And I highly recommend. Like people look into those computers. Yeah, it's really funny because like for me, it's like whatever. I'm waiting until like I have to wait until 12th gen or 11th gen before I decide to buy a new processor. And either way, I'm going with high-end desktop. So
Yeah.
I don't care. So Josh, you can get the same RAM kit I have in my computer for cheaper. It's like $158. So there's no reason for you to not do that. It's $158 American, I should say. So Canadian, it's like $200. There was a beer dispensing PC, a lot of cases. NVIDIA is making a MacBook killer.
Okay, hold up. So here's the thing with people who say that that's a MacBook killer, or that's a da-da-da killer, or that's da-da-da. No guarantees. I almost guarantee you that's not going to happen.
Oh,
because of the way, okay, here's my reasoning why, and it's actually kind of annoying. Because whenever I hear, oh, it's this kind of product killer, you can't guarantee that, mostly because of how a lot of products are done up. A lot of products actually have a pretty solid shelf life unless they're a complete flop on launch. And I don't think you're going to kill the MacBook with some new notebook.
No, what's going to happen is that, like, so this is like a new line that NVIDIA, it's like Ultrabook.
Yeah.
It's meant to be like, oh, this is Ultrabook. And what that means for people like you and me is like, oh, thin devices that are meant to be Ultrabook class. Okay. I don't care. And that is sad, because I think that a lot of the people who do care don't care.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the MacBook guys are still going to buy MacBooks, but like for it's competitions.
Yeah.
It's like our competition norm, so it's fine.
I personally see that, like, if the Mac product does kill the MacBook, which there is always the possibility, it'll be very kind of out of left field, in my opinion. But I think for the most part, whenever I hear somebody say it's a product killer, there needs to be evidence to back it up, because technically, a good example, PS4. PS4 has a better setup than the Xbox. I will freely admit that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Xbox has a devoted core, and the only way you're going to get rid of the Xbox is if you destroy the devoted core, which is really hard to do. Like, that has to be done by you and your opponent at the same time, and it's really hard when like people need to like speak and talk to people about stuff. It's just a lot of dumb things that happen.
Yeah. I do have one other comment I'm going to make, and then you're going to be like, huh, that's really cool. So one of the things that was shown was, I'm going to go to Gamers Nexus very quickly, because, Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI are actually showing X570 boards, and they're like Asus Nest 30 boards. There's going to be 50 boards available at launch, so that's good. Everyone should be happy. Anyways, moving on. Josh, did you play games?
I played a game. Yeah, finally got through Minute, which, again, the game was short, but I was just putting it off because I was doing other dumb bullshit in the background. But I was like, I should finish this because it's actually a good game and it's actually kind of short. And I did finish the whole thing. And man, that ending was crazy.
Oh, Detective Pikachu?
Well, I'm talking about Minute, the video game, but we can talk about Detective Pikachu.
Oh no! I want to hear about Minute the game because holy shit, I've heard things and I'm kind of like really interested to hear what your opinion is.
So, the game, it's hard. I guess I shouldn't spoil it for now, unless I don't know. Should I? Doesn't matter, because really with like the way the game starts is that, again, like I said, I think I said this like last week, but it's like you basically wake up from your house, you start adventuring around from the house, and you're like, oh, I can travel a little bit to the left, but I can't go that far. I can travel downward, and you're like, oh, I can go to the beach, and then you found out, oh, there's a sword on the beach. As soon as you pick it up, the game goes, hooray, you picked up the sword, but you have a timer, and you're like, oh. So you start figuring out that, oh, you can start cutting things with the sword, and you can start going through bushes, just like, typical Zelda style. And then the timer runs out, and then you just lather, rinse, repeat your days over and over, and you're getting a little bit further and a little bit further each time. And so far, I like this kind of idea of a game that kind of leans more into puzzle thinking, because it gets to more of like, oh, I remember this one certain area that there was a plant that kind of looked like it needed water. I just got a watering can, so maybe I need to run all the way back there and see if it does anything. And you run all the way back there with a watering can and you water it, and you're like, yeah, I got some little more HP now. Sweet. And you die. And you go back to the beginning. And yeah, so basically the whole game is just figuring out little puzzles here and there, and you're slowly progressing over time just to getting to newer and newer areas. And the story kind of slowly unfolds as to like how the sword came to be. And it turns out that the sword was made by a company that was ruled by, or like the CEO or whoever was owning the company was just greedy as all get out.
So he's a fuck.
Yeah, he's a huge fuck.
Like Shane.
Not Shane, because Shane, at least when you tell him, "Hey, you're being a douchey asshole," he'll stop.
Shane has morals.
Exactly, okay. And this character that you're kind of not indirectly fighting against, but once you like get to a point of like confronting him face to face, he's like, fuck you, loser. We're just going to repeat these days over and over. I'm going to make infinite swords, and you're just going to... And everyone's going to have this curse. Because for some reason, he wants everyone to have this curse, which I don't quite understand why. And basically, it's a funny ending, because you get to go to the factories making these swords, you jam the machine, and you basically make the machine explode. And because of the explosion, the CEO of the company somehow gains control of all of these cursed swords and turns into a godlike being that's made of swords.
So wait, you have to fight a godlike being
made of swords, of like the swords that kind of the same sword you've been carrying the whole game, and he's made of them. So he's trying to like shoot you with projectiles, and you're moving like basically a little bullet hell-esque type of game, and you're trying to kill him within 60 seconds type of thing. So it's a bit hectic.
Hectic is a good word.
But yeah, like it was super interesting, and also if I remember correctly, I think there's like a whole bunch of side story stuff too that like I remember doing, but I never finished. I think there's probably be more story as to like why the CEO was making these stupid swords, and why on earth did he even want to make these swords in the fucking first place? Like if he thought we can control the earth or something.
Because money.
And yeah, exactly. And yeah, and the ending was also super interesting because you get to break the curse. and the curse ends, but you get a new game plus, and the new game plus is, hey, go pick up that same sword, but it's broken, and you're instead of 60-second days, you get 40-second days. So it's like, oh, play the whole thing again, but in 40 seconds. And you still keep the perks from you had, which you just got from before. So it's like, that's not as bad, but it's still kind of a challenge just to still run around in 40 seconds, though.
Yeah. I can believe that.
Yeah. And, yeah, like, it's a short game, and it's pretty good. I like the concept behind it of, like, yeah, lather, rinse, repeat, try to figure out these small little puzzle solutions, and then go back to beginning again. Kind of like it reminds me of a early Flash game, clicking game that involves around you playing with yourself, with your past time selves. Kind of like, oh, I got to figure out how to open up this door. Oh, it turns out if this game's constantly recording me with my button clicks, so if I were to record myself holding this button the whole time, the game will record that, go back to the go and play a new session of this game. Oh, the button click is still there. I could go through this door now, and it kind of progresses through like this of like going back in time, then going forward again, and keep progressing a little bit. Kind of like it kind of reminds me of like old Flash game ingenuity of like, yeah, this game's weird with this time like different concepts, and like feels like other game companies are like too afraid to touch, or it's just a concept of like, oh, you could do a smaller game and it's fine, but you probably can't bank off it too much. But I hope the guy's banking off it because it's a cool game.
Yeah. I'll have to give it a try here at some point soon.
I would say like the game's like $10 or whatever, so it's not terrible, and it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. I give it a 10 out of 10. And you know what? I give a 10, like almost a 10 out of 10. The Detective Pikachu movie I finally saw.
What did you think of it? What did you think of it, Josh?
So there was so the good things about it I liked were you get your eye candy of all the Pokemon. I probably have to, if once the movie comes out on like Blu-ray or whatever, I would love to just sit down and just keep watching the movie over and over and see which Pokemon are in there and spotting them out, and also see all the references on the billboards in the city, because that's like the best part is like, oh, they're advertising H2O, the freaking water drink. It's great. It's the best. And they're like, oh, this one over there, I think it's the advertising for a Master Ball. I'm like, yeah.
No, actually, I don't think I saw any advertisement for Water Ball and stuff like that.
Yeah,
sorry, not the Master Ball. But I did see for Ultra Ball and Great Balls. I know that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I got like 3 complaints I got about that movie. And it's like the ending is like fucking bad.
The ending could have been better.
It could have been better, but at the same time, I get why they did it that way instead of like some other way.
Well, like, all it makes me want is like, it should have been Joseph Elba or Idris Elba.
No, because the way, even back in the like the flashbacks, because you see the dad's hands multiple times, they're not dark.
Black.
Yeah, they're not dark.
They're not black.
But we do see the mother's face at one point, and she's not black but dark tone, just like how the son is, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually happy that it's Ryan Reynolds, like that they put Ryan Reynolds as
the father figure,
as Ryan Reynolds in the movie at the end. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah. Actually, there's a joke for this joke.
It's fantastic. By the way, Jeff, you can like entirely edit that statement out if you want. Unless we're gonna just make that a little bit of a part of like the list, a little bit of a spoiler cast. I would not be either. My only complaint about the movie really is
there's not a lot of Pokemon fighting.
No, but
it's not necessarily about that.
Yeah, I would love to see like Pokemon battles with those models, but I don't think I will. Not for a long time.
Yeah, like I wouldn't like. In my head, I'm going over it. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing like another type, another movie like that, maybe 2 Pokemon fights in it or something, but not. I don't want too much of it. I want to keep it a little bit special.
Yeah.
But
I like the Pokemon fight, the few Pokemon fights that we got.
Yeah.
At the end and at the halfway point, that little cage fight area.
The cage fight. I love how they use that stupid big mouth eared Pokemon as a dubstep machine.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, you use them as a dubstep machine.
Loudra? Yeah. Fuck, I was like, that is...
That's so good!
Because even in the commercials, they showed it off. They showed that scene off. And I was like, no, that makes sense, because Loudra would totally be that kind of Pokemon. Do that.
Oh, he so would.
And then when I saw what they did with it, I was like, nope, I'm even more impressed. Boom.
Oh, another thing I love is like it's...
What?
Yeah, they're like beatboxing, but dubstep. And I'm like, yeah! This is what I want! Oh, it's so good.
Everything is so good.
And another thing about this movie, it's also a big plus, is like the details that go with these Pokemon. It's awesome. Like the dubstep with the Pokemon we just said. Like, that's a nice little detail. Yeah. Another detail is
it's very true to the source material.
Very true to the source material. Although there's 2 big gripes I have with this movie. Is one, the female support, her entire shtick doesn't change at all. Like it doesn't like her freaking like, I'm a reporter and I'm gonna solve the case and blah blah blah, and it's like and she's talking like almost a mile a minute. And it's like, for fuck's sake, could you just simmer down for like a minute? No, you're not going to change
the worst character in that movie, but it's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. And another big gripe is giving Mewtwo the ability to fuse Pokemon and people together? I'm not sure what the hell is that about, but it's like, whatever.
It doesn't make sense. It just
No, it doesn't.
Because I'm happy that I'm not the only person in this chat that's like upset about it.
I agree. But the way that the way it feels like it's said in the movie, put the mind of a human into the body of a Pokemon is the way it's said in the movie. But the way they visualized it is wrong. And I get why they did it that way, because it's supposed to be a kid's movie, not an adult movie. Because then they would have found the body of the father and stuff like that. So I get why they did it that way, because of like the visual effects and stuff like that. Because like, how do you show the transfer of a mind in Pokemon?
You don't.
You can't really do that. So like, you show the human basically becoming part of the Pokemon through like body and soul becomes part of the Pokemon, but the Pokemon is the body for the most part. You do also know that like the way that they set up the way that the process was to bring Pokemon together.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the reason why the way that with YouTube, the way they did to help emphasize that point.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, it doesn't make sense in gameplay wise, because if Mewtwo can do that, and we know for a fact with the previous movie, because they do make reference to old movies with Mewtwo, because they make it so it's escaped from Kanto, and has been on the run ever since then. They do reference the games and like the previous 2 movies involving Mewtwo in the Pokemon animated series,
and so, maybe the anime too.
That's what I mean. The animated movies. The anime.
Yeah. Or in the anime, I love that. I love the reference in that movie, but at the same time, it's like, wait, is the reference in the movie just a biography? If you think about it, like, why would he be singing the intro to Pokemon if in that universe? It doesn't make any fucking sense. But whatever.
Yeah, no, it's right. It's actually really funny, because like I can totally see that, but at the same time, oh my god, that's just, there are so many questions that are asked, but like you don't get an answer to. But I'm not even mad about it, because like they're really dumb questions you're asking yourself. Like, okay, well, what about this?
Yeah, exactly. It just comes down to, it's magic. Just shut up. And you're like, I agree. But it's like, come on, it's a little dumb.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Although the plot device for the whole movie, with what was it, using Mewtwo's DNA or pulling essence from Mewtwo to make Pokemon more agitated, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird, but that's fine, I guess. The what's another part? Oh yeah, it was like every time they're using that stupid, I'm just gonna call it fart gas. Every time they whip out the fart gas, I was like, eh. Yeah, Chemical R. Team Rocket. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rocket. It's Team Rocket.
It would be great if they make a second movie and it's about Team Rocket and they make a reference to, like, we pulled the essence from Mewtwo and we lost it. And we're like, oh, that's a good one. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that movie needs a sequel.
I agree with a sequel.
I think it would have been great.
Is the sequel going to be another Detective Pikachu? Is it going to be...
I think it can't be another Detective Pikachu. I think you have to have the same characters, though.
Maybe, or we could just follow another dude, because it could literally just follow anyone.
Yeah.
I would think if we're going to make another movie and it's going to be... If you give me this current Detective Pikachu, the character was an insurance salesman. Maybe you can follow, like, oh, this person is not an insurance salesman, but this time it's even boringer. It's like a librarian or something.
Yeah.
Like, just get more and more boring job descriptions. What do? I actually look at paint drawing. Really? What, I'm going on a big adventure with Pokemon?
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Allan left.
Oh, dear.
Allan's
I don't think...
fine.
Well, his voice thing was probably shitting out.
His computer was probably being shitty.
But yeah, like, I give the movie, like... I think for another thing is, if you don't know anything about Pokemon, it's probably not a film for you.
Yeah, this is like a reference movie for, like, us kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, your audio fucked up, right?
Internet's being poopy. But we're just saying, like, hey, the movie's very good, and we're like, is this movie meant for people who don't like Pokemon, but are like, should I see this movie if I don't know anything about Pokemon?
Yes, this movie is actually, I'd say, a pretty good intro.
Okay.
It introduces, in my opinion, it gives the fantastical elements. It gives a basic idea of what the world is like for the most part, because this isn't the traditional Pokemon world where it's wild grass, battling Pokemon and stuff like that.
Right.
It's a bit of an offshoot from Pokemon, but it's a really good introduction because it gives you, like, here's the world, the mysticism, the idea of what Pokemon are powerful and dangerous, but they're also kind and friendly and stuff like that. I think my favorite phrase in that movie is "Oh mother of Arceus." Oh boy, I heard that and I was like, yes. The writers know.
The writers care.
They cared so much. And what else? Actually, I was gonna say if people if it could be your first movie or seeing Pokemon at all, it's like the Pokemon Go of Pokemon movies. It's going to be like, oh, if you haven't played Pokemon for fucking so long, don't worry. There's this Go version. It's a hell of a lot different. Go play this one.
Yeah.
Oh. And yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I got something I gotta talk about very briefly.
Go for it.
So I was playing Destiny, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've said this multiple times on this podcast, and it never changes.
It's like, yeah, I play Destiny. It's still there.
Still
okay,
good.
that's
Still
good.
They're adding
Still
in
fun.
more content. And to people who are probably wondering and probably don't care, yeah, you should play it. Moving on to what other game have I played this week? Let's look. Let's see if I can drum up any memories. Oh, Vermintide 2. I went back to playing Vermintide.
I'm excited for Vermintide 2 because they've announced an expansion.
Yes.
I am stupid excited because it's fucking Beastman. I'm like, that is a faction that should have been in the game from the start.
So Josh
Yes.
buying Vermintide.
So this long story short, Leslie bought me Vermintide. The friend of ours in our friend circle, he's like, fucking, I'm just gonna get you this game so we can play online. And I'm like, again, I don't buy anything popular because I'm the guy who loves to play hipster games a lot. So I'm like, but he just gives it to me on Steam anyways. So I'm like, sure, whatever, fuck it. I was given this, I'll play it, fine. I was trying to install the stupid thing, and none of the packages he was giving me would fucking install. And I'm like, why does this not work? And I realized all he did was give me DLC. He gave me every single DLC and not the game itself. I'm like, how do you do this? Like, what the hell?
Magic.
Whatever. I just went out and bought the game myself and just kept all the DLC. But it was like, whatever. That's because I was talking to him back and forth. I was trying to install it. I'm like, dude, it's not fucking working. What did you do? But freaking, I finally got it installed. But God, it's like 50 gigs. I didn't realize it was so big. Just giant sword of a game.
Yeah, it's 50 gigs worth of data. It's really good.
Is that all like the more I'm like installing games, more I'm like, is that all just textures? That's probably all just textures and sound files.
Yeah.
Just to make it look good. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Imagine what holodeck, the holodeck freaking gigabytes are going to be. It's going to be absurd. It's going to be like a petabyte. It's like, they were like, yeah, this game, like, we actually got it down from 300 petabytes down to 20. Good?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I can entire. What is it with like game companies and not optimizing their games anymore?
I don't know.
I think it comes down to, hey, you can get like 4 terabytes for $50 almost.
I don't fucking care. I don't have to buy fucking like a massive terabyte hard drive just to be able to play a game.
That too. I think it's because it's this
like,
constant chase. It's a constant chase to have 4K high def. Look how pretty the textures are.
Even so, optimization means that it cuts down the size of the files. So, like, if you optimize the game, you don't need to worry about having like 50 gigabytes of fucking data for you.
The game companies are lazy as fuck.
I know.
I mean, it's almost as if we're due for a crash soon. So,
God, if there is a crash, and it's like, well, how is that even going to work out? Because the internet makes it so difficult for it to be a crash. Because like before, the reason why there's a crash in the first place is because there's a lack of info of like, is this game good? Is this game bad? Where does this game came from? What console do I need? What controllers do I want? And all this info that you need for just playing a fucking video game, no one had. The internet, you have all that info. So I'm like, so if there's gonna be a crash, how is that even gonna work?
Well, like what I mean by a crash is I think that it's going to take either Activision going down or EA going down.
Blizzard going down. That's never gonna happen, but that'd be funny.
Well, there is a chance that Blizzard could go down, like lawsuits and like mistakes and stuff like that.
I think we're already seeing like the golden horses fail.
Yeah.
Ugh. I do have. Yeah, I got like one complaint I got to make about Vermintide 2 is that like it's still Vermintide 2, so if you don't play it a lot, it's still hard and still difficult. But it feels like they made the game easier, or I've gotten better.
It's probably that you've gotten better and more realistic. Because I know people who used to play Vermintide 1 who went into Vermintide 2, and they're like, yeah, it is a little bit easier, but because of how they've done the boss fights and stuff like that, it can be incredibly hard at times, like punishingly so, because of how they do the spawn rates for like the bosses and stuff like that. Ugh.
I know that's the first. I know I played a little bit of Vermintide 1 before, and my only complaint about it was getting the cubes to get better drops were annoying because it takes up an item space or some shit. And also, your run speed in the game was so fucking slow. It was like, Jesus, why am I running so unforgivably slow in this game? It feels like you're just on a leisure stroll through fucking rat-infested streets because you're like, yeah, it's a Saturday. And it's like, for God, that's the two things I hated about it.
Mm-hmm.
Although, did they ever fix the run speed in this game?
They have.
Okay, or at least feels a little faster.
Yeah.
They also did fix how... There are some things that they need to fix it for Vermintide 2 that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Level progression. Cough, cough. And loot boxing. The way they do the loot box.
I think it's fine, but that's me. I agree with some of the issues. I don't agree with other issues. Is this podcast? Does Allan have anything to talk about this week?
Not really. I didn't. Other than like Gay Pride Month started today. Get ready for corporations trying to shove the fact that they want your money through gay ads and stuff like that.
Look at this rainbow flag we put up. Look at it.
I have a personal complaint about Gay Pride Month. When did it need to become a month?
Because they're fucking whiny as shit.
I agree. They are.
Yeah.
I got my own separate set of complaints, but that's
for something else.
No, my complaints are like simply like I have never met a group of people who have been more bitchy, more complaining about anything that a person does, and then he sits there and comes out in support of those people. In support.
Mm-hmm.
And then people bitch he sits there and says, we should do something in order to prevent these countries from treating these group of individuals who fucking did nothing wrong other than have a different sexuality or different or homosexuals. We should totally just fucking do something about these countries treating individuals terrible because of their sexuality. And the first response, fuck you.
Yep.
Like what?
No, I have seen a lot of people complain about Donald Trump. I'm like, but I get it. Like, yeah, no, like you are for those people who don't understand.
And then
I don't care if you're gay, bi. No. We're gonna stop there. Because you're gonna get mad and you're gonna off the rant. My problem with Gay Pride with the Gay Pride Month is it started off as like, oh, here's a day or a couple days. I can't, because depending upon where you were. Then it became a week. Then it became 2 weeks. Then it became a month. And the moment I heard it became a month, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this the thing? Because, like, I have no problem with people like, yeah, let's just go off and show our pride because, like, hey, we're gay, whatever. I don't care. I don't mind. It's not for me because I'm bi and I don't care. If I get with a dude, I'll get with a dude. If I get with a girl, I'll get with a girl. Bisexuality is not the point of my judgment. But it's like, it's so obnoxious now. I mean, like, I actually saw somebody who like I saw a gay person online. Like, yeah, no, I'd like a picture. I'd like to get a picture like this. They talk to the artist, and the artist is allowed to deny them service because they don't want if they don't want to, or if it's something if there's something that they don't want to agree with and don't be associated with. Fine, whatever. But like I'm sitting there and I'm like, at the same time, you're discriminating against somebody for their political stance, but you guys complain about the bakery down in Minnesota or something like that.
Yeah.
Like some red state down in the States where he said, I don't want to bake a cake for a gay person or a trans person because it's against my religious practice. And as a practitioner, I'm allowed to deny that service based on my moral ethics, which is fair. And he's won every time they try to take it. He's won every time. But the moment it happens in reverse, no, it's totally fair. And like, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't really.
I got like 3 like major complaints about.
Yeah.
Like I understand. Like, here's my thing: is that like I have never met a group of people who have been more anti-corporation. And I'm not saying this about all of them. I'm just saying about the vast majority who wear it on their sleeve. Because I've had bosses who have been gay, but that's not their identity. Okay?
Yeah.
My
issue comes in the form of when that's your identity. When that is your soul.
I agree.
Like, and the funny thing is that like these people get catered to like nobody else. And then they complain. And it's like, it's kind of hard for me. Like, it's funny because like for me right now, it's like, oh my God, I can't wait in order to go to Burger King and get my cup of coffee that's going to have the pride flag on it. And it's like, can we just stop? Can we just stop? Like, just stop, like, marketing everything. Just stop, like, doing this thing. Like, I have no problem if you want to wave the flag on a flagpole. That's fine. It's when it's like, it's everywhere. And it's in my face. And it's constantly in my face. And it's like, I just want a coffee cup. I don't need to know I don't have to care that it's Pride Month. It's fine if you want to donate money to a shelter or a group or anything like that. That's fine. But, like, just don't use it as a marketing opportunity, which is what it feels like a lot of people do. And it cheapens the movement. And then you have a group of people who sit there and say, well, I'm anti-corporation. And it's like, then why the hell do you stand by while this happens? Like, that's actually what makes me curious is, like, why are you sitting there and allowing them to stomp on your flag?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know what everyone else would do. It's like, it's enough is enough. It's just like I don't need to know. I'm happy for the gay community as a whole. I think that, like, this is important. I think that this is very important that you accept who you are. What I'm not excited about is people using this as a marketing opportunity again and again and again. And it just cheapens the movement to a point where you have to sit there and wonder, is everyone in this movement who is anti-corporation a hypocrite?
Basically.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, it's funny because, like, those corporations are more than happy to give them whatever they want.
Yep.
But as soon as somebody sits there and says something that they don't like, it's like, oh my God, you're the worst person. And as soon as these corporations do not instantly act, it's just like, they're against me. And it's like, no, they're not. They're in it for the money. So, like, I don't really care, like, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a big deal. I think that the bigger deal comes in the fact of, like, is there going to be a riot in the States Is there going to be another shooting? Is there going to be something like that? Is there going to be a group of people who go farther than what we should normally go? And it's like, I'm just sick and tired of like the way society is doing this, and I think that we need to stop. Because I think that like making everything into a marketing opportunity is terrible. Sorry for the rant.
No, it's okay.
That is fine.
But yeah,
I know on Twitter, I pretty much have that same ranty opinion on Twitter too, because I'll be scrolling, and then again for the Gay Pride Month stuff going on, I was like, whatever, okay, yeah, you're gay, okay, cool, okay, you're gay too, okay, cool, you're gay, yep, you're lesbo, okay, cool, and then once or twice you just get a post that's like, I'm gonna destroy my ass with all these dildos, and I'm like, do you have to post that?
like,
Do you really have to post that?
It's just people
Whatever,
wanting attention
fucking...
because they feel as if like they feel as if screaming into the void that the internet and then getting like the fucking 5 likes is fucking worth it. And to those people, I say, go fucking outside for 5 minutes, please.
I mean, the likes.
Actually, apparently one of my friends, Christina, one of my friends, I met a group of her friends, and they have a phrase from a server, from a chat group that they're in called "Go touch grass." And I love that phrase because it's like, you're taking this too serious. Go outside and touch the grass.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. All right, I am done. Let's go to bed.
Okay, thank you for listening to the Black Mind Podcast, episode 1202.
Yep.
There has been some things on the cutting room floor.
Couple things, not much.
Good things. Thank you for listening to the Black Mind Podcast, episode 202. My name was Jeff. Joining me this week was Josh and Allan. You can listen to us every Thursday on the blackmindgames.podbean.com. And you can also subscribe to us on YouTube or iTunes. And if you have any critiques or anything like that, go right ahead. Have a good night, guys. We done?
Oh, hold up. I actually need to 1 2 1 2. There we go. That's good. All right. Yeah, no, because I noticed last week when I was checking over the audio that I had spikes.
Instead of recording on the week of the 14th, like that week's episode is just going to be the spoiler cast.
Okay, so we can skip a week.
Yeah, well, that's because like I'm going on vacation, so it makes more sense if I go on vacation and then like not record.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Because it's like, oh, I then don't have to do anything.
Yep.
Okay, so why would I do anything?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, I'm a man with a plan. I'm now labeled homophobe in the plan.
All right, so shall we?
Wait, hold on.
Oh, well.
This is the figure skating fail I was talking about.
I got to grab something, and I'm just going to grab it, and you're going to be like, why? Why you like this? So give me a few seconds, okay?
All right. How you doing, Josh?
I'm okay. I have this annoying cough in my chest.
You
Not the best.
You might want to just look into
Look
You know,
into what?
You
Getting
just,
like a-
go, get to the doctor, just go to the doctor. Just go to the doctor.
What are you talking about?
No, freaking, I got like this phlegm buildup in my chest that I don't know where it came
without
from.
a doubt, you should probably go talk to a doctor because that could be like several different.
Yeah.
Could be cancer.
All right, we ready?
Well, first let me do one thing. Oh, wait. So, I bought beer because I'm like a sick and deprived human being. And I bought this beer called Electric Unicorn, which is the girliest name I think I've ever found for beer.
Electric Unicorn is really found.
For a beer, just in general, for a beer. And so I bought it, of course, because I'm a great person.
Not emotionally deprived at all.
Not emotionally deprived at all. Let's be honest here. I am totally sane. And so I bought this beer, and it's a light beer, and it's hoppy, and it's not that hoppy. So it's okay.
For me, when it comes to like how I like my country, how I like my beer, far removed from what it is.
What the?
So give me a beer that's like, oh, this doesn't taste like a beer, so I like it.
So what you want is basically like a Stein or an ale.
Probably. I don't think I've had a Stein or an ale. The only beer that I ever had that I liked a lot was this one. It was like a really fancy craft beer, talking about how it was distilled in freaking rum kegs and all this shit. And I took a drink of it. I was like, this is still a beer, but it was like the smoothest thing I ever had. So I was like, yeah, I'll drink a lot of these things if they weren't so expensive. And another thing is the penny taste in your mouth. Not great.
Yeah, actually, as I explained, because I was at a party tonight before I came on. When I said I would be on late, I was like, "Yeah, I'm staying till 10 o'clock." Then I've told everybody that, like, I can't stand beer because I just don't like the flavor.
Straight to our hard alcohol.
I like beer. Beer's okay. Like, the thing with beer is that, like, I don't like the people who are like, I don't like it, because it's like, okay, why? And then it's like, there are some people who like really hate it, and then there are some people who really like it. And the people I don't like are the ones that like are just like, I can't explain to you why I don't like it. I just don't like it.
Yeah. No, there are people out there like that. It's just like for me, it's the taste and flavor that are actually like a really bad thing for me to. I can't stand the way that beer tastes.
See, and you and me are different for various reasons.
I also do find that beer tends to be like, beer is something that you build up into to be like used to, but I just could never do it.
That and I just
then you have people like me who are like actively drinking it, and you're like,
Well, for me, it's like, yeah, it's like a kind of a cured taste for. Like, you first start it, you hate it, and then you end up liking it, kind of like the 1,000-year egg thing. Asian people just get born into it and eat it and go, yeah, I love it. But give it to someone who'd never had it before, it's like, how could you eat this?
I can testify to. I know for a fact that my dad doesn't drink much anymore, but apparently he used to drink like Crown Royal and stuff like that back when he was in the military, back before he met my mom, and even after my mom got married. He used to drink a lot, and I've discovered that I have a lot of the same things he has, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
See, my dad my dad and I have come to a mutual understanding that like Crown Royal is great, but like I honestly prefer alcohol, hard alcohol, and like I don't understand why. I think it's just because of the way I am.
Oh yeah, there's people like that.
Oh yeah, it's like
And I don't blame you. In some cases, it's a bit of a like an acquired taste. I tried Crown Royal and Captain Morgan and Johnny Walker and stuff like that for the first time over the past couple of years. I've found that I'm a Scotch, whiskey, and rum person. I also like my ales, but I don't drink ale very often. I find that ale is either a fucking hit or a fucking miss, and there is no in between.
Oh yeah, no, ales are totally like that.
But yeah, no.
Okay.
Do we want to do this?
We're going to start the show. We're going to start the show now.
Probably should.
Okay. Sync in 3, 2, 1.